Trina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy you're here today. I am working on a project for the challenge over at Twisted Thursday. And our optional twist is tic-tac-toe. Now, if you're not familiar with tic-tac-toe, what you want to do is you want to connect 3 in a row. That can either be in a column, a row, or a diagonal. So you want to use something from those blocks in the board. And here's my board. I was sort of an overachiever and I got everything in except for the metal piece. I did not use any metal on my project. Now the reason I got all of these is because I chose to go with 3 little paper dolls and dress them in different outfits. I started this project in Cricut Design Space, and you can see here the doll and her outfits. They are from Once Upon a Princess, and I use different digital papers as well as physical papers for those. And I used some inks and some Versamark ink and embossing powders in gold. And I used some sparkle paper or glitter paper. I just used a big variety of scraps. I started out with just some simple inking, and I'm not going to show you that on the video because it would take forever, number one. But I just simply went through and I just inked around the edges of all of the pieces that I used, every single piece. So, right, you're thankful you don't have to sit through that, right? All right, let's move on to the embossing. On her little Western outfit, I thought it would be fun to have the parts of her boots and her little belt buckle to be shiny as if it were metal. And I thought the best way to do that would be to emboss with some gold embossing powder. As you can see, these teeny tiny little pieces, embossing them was kind of a nightmare. But I got it done. It was easier just to sort of cover them with the embossing powder and then just sort of slide them off onto my glass mat. Then when I went to actually emboss them, the first piece was not too difficult. I just held it in place with my piercing tool. However, these little pieces were a little more difficult. I have tried putting them on masking tape and trying to hold them down that way. That never seems to work for me. If anybody has any ideas on how to do that with these teeny tiny little pieces, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear your suggestions because I always fight with them. All right, so now it's time to build these dolls. And I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm not going to take you through every single outfit, how I put them together, but I'm just hitting some of the highlights. So the first thing we're going to do is build our doll, and I built 3 of them. And I started with the background, then placed the little blue circle behind her face to give her dimension as well as blue eyes. Then I glued on the body onto the back of her hair. And then we moved on to gluing the front of her hair or her bangs or fringe onto the front of her little face. So you can see how it all kind of comes together. I'm using fabric tack to do all of my gluing on this project. I did use some double score tape too, so I've used a little bit of both. All right, next I'm going to move on to the little camisole, and I'm going to use my Barely Arts Precision Tips glue for that because these are so teeny tiny that I would have had glue everywhere and it would have looked like a mess. So I just brought in that precision tip glue and it worked beautifully. Back to the fabric tack, I'm going to go ahead and put the little camisole on her so she's got a little something on there. Moving on to the raincoat and umbrella, I'm using some sparkle cardstock, glitter cardstock. And because I'm using the glitter cardstock, I've chosen to go ahead and use Gorilla Glue when I put these little pearls on and not just rely on the stick on the back. I'm coloring them with a darker blue. These are a light blue. They're from Close to My Heart. And there's that Gorilla Glue. I'm just put it off onto a carrier sheet, and I'm just sort of dipping those pearls in and then laying them on top of that glitter cardstock, just to be sure that they're going to stay on there. Laying my stamp block on the top, again, just to hold them on. Here is another one of the outfits, and you can see that I've added a little wooden flower to that. And here's the third outfit, a little Western girl here with all of those embossed pieces, as well as a little wooden rosette on her hat. All right. Well, that concludes this video. Any comments or questions, leave them in the box below. And I'm going to leave the information about the challenge there, as well as the pieces that I used. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.